Hi, I'm Bran and Ice Wine Fake Vineyard.
Hi, I'm Dan. Shout out to all the ice wine makers out there doing the Lord's work. I despise your movies.
I'm Alonso, and you thought ice wine was sweet, and this
is the Takeover Podcast. That's a different song, actually. If you think about the music,
is a Bramble
if you
Jam
think about the
podcast.
music as a whole, it's a totally different song than this.
The Hallmark, it's his podcast. Brandon and friends host his podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Why do we even do so many shows?
That's a great question. But it's not like you played something from another show. You played the tag from This is a Bramble Jam podcast.
Yeah, which is at the start of...
It has at one point or another been in the start of most all of our shows.
Yes, still is. Just not this
Just
particular
not this
show.
one.
Because this is the one
not
that we...
the flagship show of the Bramble Jam Podcast Network.
That's right.
Make too much sense.
Yeah.
I also think anytime we do it, we're recording, spoiler alert, we're not recording at 6 in the morning. I know. Pulling back the curtain a little bit. We're recording at 2 in the afternoon our time. And we've not done anything all day today. Like we normally watch a movie, have some other things. I had to be at school.
We had a good day.
But we're clearly, we got to get in a rhythm.
Yeah.
It just wasn't all clicking for us.
It's good. We're going to get there, though. But you know who doesn't need to warm up? You know who's always ready to go at a moment's notice? Alonso,
Duralde.
hello. Welcome to you. Happy Monday.
Thank you. Well, it's because I'm never not podcasting. So,
He's always...
I'm always in the zone.
The film
always ready to
verdict
go.
is in. Alonso Duralde, always on his A game.
That's right. That's right. This is another Vineyard movie that we're going to be talking about today, which is very exciting.
Clink, clink.
Man, I got to tell you, as I was looking...
That's all, folks.
Hold on. I was, working on making sure... So, at the beginning of the year, I combed through the 2023 movies that might be interesting to talk about and added them to the schedule. Occasionally, those movies then disappear from January. They're no longer available. So now, just last week, I went through from now until July getting movies for this particular program. And there's still a lot out there. What I'm trying to say is there's still a lot out there.
Are you okay, buddy?
Untouched by human hands.
Are you okay?
There's a Colin Mockery joint we're getting to, Dan.
Wow.
And is
part of this the Moretti's?
Now I feel pressure. This is what happens.
Look, you know what the thing is we're so excited. It's May right now.
Right.
It's May.
It is May.
We are mere weeks away.
It's gonna be
May. We're weeks away.
Still April.
Is it? Are you sure it's still April? Man, it's still
April.
April.
Definitely still April.
It's kind of like May, but there's still showers. Look, I'm telling you, it's been a weird day, guys. I thought it was May already.
I've always said
I'm
April.
champing at the bit to get a hold of my copy. That's what I'm trying to say, of Hollywood Pride by Alonso Duralde. That's what I'm saying. We're mere weeks away, Alonso.
Alonso, do you want to point
I know. It's getting crazy close. I can't believe it.
What was that, Aaron?
If he wants to point to it again, I'll go close up.
Oh.
Yeah, close up. Go. There you go. Bam.
Wow.
Man, it looks great.
Look at that. Looks like you're spinning it on your hand like a basketball.
Are we too far out for you to? Okay. Are we too far out for you to start telling people where they can find you to get to see your wonderful self in person and get a copy of it signed?
Oh, well, hey, if you are in the Palm Springs area on Tuesday, May 14th, I'm doing an appearance at, this is called The Best Bookstore in Palm Springs.
Bold.
That's a bold name to give yourself. But yeah, at 5:30 p.m. and I'm going to be in conversation with one of my favorite film critics, the legendary David Anson, and then selling and signing books as well. So come on by to that, and there's more to come to be announced soon. And of course, obviously, if you're going to be at Bramblefest this year, I will absolutely be selling and signing copies there.
And pre-sales are available right now, and the book actually releases on what date, Alonso?
May 14th.
May 14th, that day.
The book, the ebook, and the audio book.
Yeah,
And,
both and May 14th be with you.
And if you want to find out more about this book, we're actually going to be doing an even deeper dive with Alonso on that book in the next week or two. So keep your eyes peeled on that. An actual interview with Alonso.
We get to have Alonso as an interview guest.
Listen.
We've been trying to make that deal happen for 5 years now. And his people have been ruthless.
They're awful.
It's unbelievable.
They're awful.
Every time my name came up, it was like, is he on When Calls the Heart? No, then pass.
No, it's true.
That's right.
That's true.
That's right. Yeah.
But we're
you
really
do need to pick a team, Nathan or Lucas, before the interview. You need to know that right now.
I thought we were all Gowan.
Okay.
We are
that's
all
fair. You
Gowan.
can pick that. You can pick Gowan.
I mean, we are all Team Gowan. I think.
Do I watch this show? No. Do I watch every one of your recaps?
God
Yes.
bless you. This guy, above and beyond. Company man.
And I'm sure you watch them on Philo, of course, philo.tv/DTH,
Heck yeah.
where you can watch our show.
Philo Deep Dive.
That's right, Philo
That's right.
Deep Dive. So many of the movies that we cover, of course, When Calls the Heart, so much more. Philo.tv/DTH. If you've ever wondered what we look like, maybe you've been listening for a while and you somehow also don't follow us on social media, have no idea what we look like, and have never seen the cover of our podcast. Philo.tv/DTH. It's a very specific person that I'm talking to.
There are a lot of hurdles out there
It's a
for
very
someone
specific,
at this point
you
to
know,
not
maybe
know.
you just see the cover and you don't know who's who.
Who's who?
Who's who?
Which one is
Spoiler,
which?
Bran looks exactly the way you think he would
right.
based on his
That's
voice.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Accurate.
Dan.
I don't think. I don't know. I don't think I look the way I would. You'd think I would look. Bran. What was that, Alonso? What was that face?
I was trying to come up with something.
Okay, all right. I was about to say.
Just let it go.
Aaron, were you about to say something?
Oh, I was just saying Dan's taller in person.
Dan's taller in person. I've heard that. I hear that all the time.
I don't know if you get that from Philo. I don't know if that comes across.
Yeah,
doesn't.
because your torso's so long. What? That's what. Bran has a long. Bran has a long torso, so we look like we're the same height. His torso's long. It's a little stretch Armstrongy there in the middle. There's nothing wrong with that.
I do just want to say really quickly. Obviously, this episode is coming out
In
on
April or
Monday,
not May?
Monday in April, and I do just want to say, super proud of my Orlando Magic, 2 wins straight, going back to Cleveland, tied 2-2. Very
I
excited.
love that this is your chance to say it.
It's bold, baby.
Yeah.
And if I'm somehow wrong about that, you know, I think it's maybe you heard it wrong.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
You've heard of fanfic. This is Bran
This is
fic.
Bran fic. I love it.
I hope
Or
that-
hate it, depending
I
on.
hope that never comes out. Brand fic. Let's talk about another Vineyard,
have to?
a Vineyard movie, A Vineyard Christmas. It is called. How is that title still around? November 3rd, 2023 is when it premiered. I believe it first appeared on Xumo. And then has since kind of made its way around the world. The passport, this movie's passport, you're not going to believe this, but there are lipstick stains.
Lipstick stamps?
Yeah.
On the
passport of this movie.
It's international?
It's international.
It's unbelievable.
Just more.
Has it been around the whole world?
Yeah.
Does it speak the language?
Doesn't. It doesn't.
Why not?
I don't know, man. International. What else something like this? Heather is the host of Read Between the Vines.
Jason Derulo.
Who just January, February, March, April, May. Jason Derulo.
That doesn't work at all, but I love it so much.
Heather's the host of Read Between the Vines, which is a TV show just wrapped on their Christmas episode, and her boss is not pleased. Why, you might be wondering? Because it's got no winter. It's got no holly jolly. It's got no Christmas. Can't have a Christmas episode without that, even though it is actually what her boss asked for.
Specifically.
But whatever, that doesn't matter. So she's got to redo it. And if she knocks it out of the park, and it gets good ratings, she's going to get to do a European version of her show, which is something she's been asking for a long time. She does a little trick 'em up to allow her to still get to spend time at home for Christmas. She says, I'm going to cover this vineyard. They always do this big Christmas festival. It's going to be amazing. And that vineyard, Dan, just so happens to be in her hometown. So it's like, that's how you do. You
Works out well.
can't snake a snake.
She gets to see her brother, Dad.
That's right. She gets home. Wouldn't you know it? She gets home to her and sees her brother / dad, and is pumped. To see. He's so pumped to see her.
That's right.
But she's immediately greeted with bad news. The O'Reilly family has moved to Florida. So the vineyard, the O'Reilly vineyard, is she was going to cover.
Oh,
O'Reilly
wine.
Ice wine.
Auto parts. They're gone. So what's she going to do? Luckily, there's a new winery in town. So she goes to ask them if she can do a story on them. You know, if you can't do the one that you want, go do anything else is basically the thought process here.
Dance with who brung you.
That's right. And so luckily for them, for her, she walks in and meets the owner. His name is Rudolph. Call him Rudy. And he's a bit grumpy.
Yeah. Stop your messing around, Rudy.
Lucky though, his brother Anton is way more on board with the idea of doing this show. They give her a wine and cookie pairing, and she loves it. They specialize in ice wine.
Bran hates. If you're out there and you make ice wine, Bran hates you.
So, have I ever tasted it? No. So she asked them if, are you planning on having the big annual Christmas festival, you might say.
The big Christmas annual festival.
Rudy's like, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Maybe next year. But when Anton hears that she doesn't have any other leads on a story, he's like, you know what? We're going to show you how we make ice wine. And that's pretty wintry. Wintry's kind of Christmassy. How do you like me now? And she says, all right, that's good enough. They get started, and Rudy is in a really, he wasn't on board at all. And now that he's having to do it, he's very bad in front of the camera.
What?
But that's nothing a snowman competition can't cure. Those two lovebirds, they make a snowman. Do you want to build a snowman?
Do they win?
They actually, no. But they do end up having a really nice time together, and I think that's really nice. So the next day, he is crushing it in front of the camera.
Yeah.
The chemistry, it is palpable. She invites Rudy and Anton to her family's friend's Christmas. They come, and it is an amazing night. So much fun is had, and it's educational. As they're saying goodbye to each other, they find themselves under the mistletoe, but instead of kissing, they do an awkward handshake to say goodbye. The next morning, her boss calls and says, not Christmassy enough. So she goes to ask Rudy if he would reconsider having the Christmas festival. And he says, I just don't have the money. But then she's like, but my dead mom. And he's like, fine, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Twist my arm. But apparently when they were supposed to have the festival, now it's prime time grape time.
Yeah, it's the frost.
It's the big frost. You got to get the frost. So I guess it's not going to happen. JK, it does happen. They figure it out, and the festival's a big hit. They record some stuff. The sparks are flying. Her boss calls up and says, I love this. You're going to Europe. And so she goes to tell Rudy, guess what? I got a TV show, and I'm going to Europe. He's not all that thrilled by this.
Last girlfriend left him and go to Europe.
And she's like confused, like, I thought you would be happy for me. So now she's sad. He's sad. But Anton goes up to Rudy and says, Rudy, I know you hate it here. I know you hate ice wine like any sane person would. You were meant
to live for so much more. You lost yourself.
And you were made to host TV programs. Go get your girl and become a TV star. Which I didn't know was an option. I didn't know that was an option that was out there for him, but apparently it is. So he goes and they make up. They kiss on the porch. No need for mistletoe. The mistletoe's down. Don't need the kiss.
No.
Cut to the future, and they are co-hosting a show together.
Yeah, they are.
How about those two guys? And they kiss some more, and that, my friends, was a Vineyard Christmas.
We did it.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll break this movie down with 4 segments here on Deck the Hallmark. And the way the Magic blew the Cavs out in Game 4.
Game 4, it was backbreaking.
Amazing.
The Orlando crowd.
Yeah.
Like
Orlando Magic. Yeah, it's great. Let's break this movie down, A Vineyard Christmas. We're going to start with the hot take. It's where we share exactly how we felt about this movie. We give a little bit of a sizzling take. It's so hot. You're like, whoa, whew, that's a good hot take. And no one gives a sizzler take than my good friend Alonso. Alonso, what'd you think of A Vineyard Christmas?
Put gloves on before you pick up this steak.
Oh, here it is.
It's so hot. So this movie kind of took me back to 2020 when, through some miracle, the Christmas movie industrial complex did not shut down. You know, the world was shut down. Everything was in chaos, but they knew that we needed Christmas movies to get through the year. And so somehow they made them. They made, you know, they quarantined people, they social distance them, they put in like maybe fewer extras or whatever, and they made those movies. And that was a real accomplishment. And then it seems like after that, somebody was like, hey, you know what? If we make these movies where there are almost no extras, that's going to save us a lot of money.
A lot of time.
What if we just took that on as like a regular way of making
People
movies?
are used to it.
Yeah. Clearly they'll watch them, right? They don't mind. This movie is like takes place at a ghost vineyard. Like besides the two brothers, I don't think anybody works there. And so it's just like, okay, this is supposed to be a thriving concern, a happening business, but like these guys are doing all of it by themselves, harvesting, planting, you know, little lab pipettes, Christmas festivals, you name it. They got it covered, these two brothers. So that was just weird. The whole movie was giving me very strong 2020 vibes. The couple, you know, have their moments, and when the movie stops being dumb for a second and they actually have a real conversation, you know, it kind of lands. But then it gets dumb again, you know, and the idea that like if she's going to go do a show in Europe, it means she's moving to Europe forever and never, ever coming back. Just stuff like that was just kind of like, yeah. So, yeah, ultimately, this is pretty by the numbers, and they're not good numbers.
So, you know, last week we reviewed another Vineyard movie, which was very similar to the other Vineyard movie we had, where someone goes and they're going to buy the vineyard, but it's just an undercover buy situation.
It's rivaling carousel movies at this point.
This was not that. No one was trying to buy this vineyard, partly because no one was ever there, and you know.
You could just squat in the vineyard, apparently, and no one would catch you.
I mainly just like wish that they would have done that storyline because it's more interesting to me than this. I just, it's fine. Like, I thought the leading gal was charming enough, and there were some scenes that landed. But overall, I was just kind of like, man, wouldn't it be cool if she like bought the vineyard or something? So that's kind of where I was at. I was like, man, what if someone like actually who likes the vineyard, like bought the vineyard or something like that'd be fun. We bought a vineyard. But unfortunately, that's not what we got. We got I'm going to go and shoot a show, and if it's good, I get to go to Europe. And then somehow she ends up as just a co-host. So really a tough break for her. Great break for him. Yeah. And it was fine. It was fine. Dan?
When Alonso said when the movie takes a minute to not be dumb, I perked up because I missed that minute that happened in this movie. This is tough. They're worried about people and vineyard buying. You could jam this thing full of people. You could make it a thriving metropolis, and he's saving it. Not with what we're having to work with here. It's tough. They not only are there no people in this movie, they used the same scene several times in this movie to weird effect. They use it is such a shoestring budget, and you can tell it's a shoestring budget, and it's just, and I think the big issue that I have with the movie, aside from the fact that it commits the cardinal sin of not being entertaining even in its badness, is that the idea that the leading dude in this movie is going to host a television show is one of the most far-fetched plots. Like, this guy, if you want to say he's not a bad actor, the performance he's giving is very like stolid and like serious and soft-spoken, not camera, not out there. And the fact that they just make him a host of this TV show at the end, like, this is something she's trained her whole life for. He has no experience, nor does he really have, by all accounts, the persona to do it. And by the end of the movie, he's just a co-host of this show. That kind of shows you the arc this movie was on. It was like at every turn, they're like, what decision saves money? That one, great. Let's do that one. This was brutal. It made last week's Vineyard movie look like an absolute award-winning triumph. Yeah.
I also really liked that lead last week. He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
This movie wasn't funny.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I missed the funnies. It's time for all the feels we were talking about. What gave us those feels, Alonso?
I did laugh early on where the boss is berating her for making a Christmas special that wasn't Christmassy enough. And she's like, well, you told me Christmas specials were gauche. She's like, yeah, well, I changed my mind. Like, that is
fun.
It's a throwaway, but I thought it made me laugh. Some fun, diverse holiday factoids thrown in here. I didn't know about Women's Christmas, or is that what they call it?
I didn't either. In the Irish tradition, I didn't know.
Yeah, that on the Epiphany, the women get to relax and the men clean up all the stuff from the holidays. New to me. The lighting of the menorah, I had never heard somebody do an English translation of what the prayer means, so that was kind of a nice moment. A few little things sprinkled along. And then here's the scene that I'll give them that wasn't dumb. When the two of them are having that dinner in front of the fireplace and sort of talking about their lives and that kind of thing, for a minute it started feeling like that this was going to become something where these were actual characters that we were going to care about. Didn't last, but I did have that moment of thinking we were going there.
Yeah, fair.
I didn't really have any real feels. I did enjoy the awkward moment where they're gonna kiss under the mistletoe and then just do a weird handshake. I enjoyed that, and it resonated a bit.
Resonated with you?
With me, maybe a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. Maybe lived that life.
You've done that. You've done an almost kiss, awkward handshake under the mistletoe.
I honestly don't know if I have, but it feels like something I would have done.
Yeah.
Had I was given the opportunity.
I sense a repressed memory here is coming to the surface.
Had I was
You're just
given
a
the
cat
opportunity.
hitting around a word ball is all you're doing.
Had I was.
Had I
was given the
What are you
opportunity.
doing?
Yeah. That's right.
Had I was given, what had happened was,
Yeah.
I do have feels. I said that the movie didn't have a moment that wasn't dumb. Having said that, that was just for the fun of it.
That's what real critics do.
They
lie and say it's just for the fun of it.
To be fair, I forgot I had feels, and then I had written it down. So there's that. When the brothers talk,
I said the movie wasn't any good, but that was just for the fun of it.
It was for the fun of it.
For the fun of it. So I'll try it on.
Psych, movie's great. The brothers talk at the end, and the younger brother comes in there and sets them straight. Is like, you don't want to do this, and he's like, the movie's just chock full of bad dialogue, the whole movie long. And then all of a sudden, the brother says, when you find yourself in the same situation over and over again, it becomes harder and harder to blame other people. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's just trying to just full truth impale right now. That was way more than I thought we were going to get here. And I did I did kind of double take, and I rewound it to make sure I heard it correctly. And so, yeah, didn't expect it. There you go.
It's time for us to take a break, and then we'll come back with the way one, the what, the hallmark. Here on Deck the Hallmark.
Deck the Hallmark.
What's up? We're back. We're
Deck the Hallmark.
So close. You'll get with that delay. We're
Yeah,
trying
we're
to figure it
getting
out.
Yeah,
we're trying to figure it out.
You know what it is? It's those liberals in California. They make the delays longer.
It is. It hits different over there. It's
The delay from Texas is under a tenth of a second.
It's under a tenth of a second. Yeah. They actually are early.
They're early. That's right.
Crazy. Somehow,
That's right.
It's opposite lag. We're on.
I think the delay from Texas is 150 years, but that's another topic.
Heyo.
Brown. Had I was going to set up another segment, it would be the Wait What. It is where we talk about what this movie is go Wait What. And I'll start with you, Alonso.
Had I was is as bad as you've ever been.
It's only taken me, 6 years. Alonso, Any wait, what's for
Like the
you?
beginning of a folk song.
In 2013, in the back of a cab in Costa Rica, Brand asked me if South Carolina was a Hampton. He said, "Is South Carolina a Hampton?" And I've known him. We've been doing this thing for 11 years, and I still don't know what he's talking about. I still don't know what he means by that. Is South Carolina a Hampton? You don't know either.
It's something to do with Wade Hampton, but I don't know what entirely. No.
Is it a Hampton?
And you've yet to answer me. It's a simple yes or no.
Hey,
is South Carolina all part of Long Island?
yeah, is South Carolina a Hampton?
A Hampton.
One of them? Sorry, go ahead, Alonso.
All right. Can we talk about the snow for a second in this movie? I have never seen a movie that has actual, real, legit snow look more like a movie that has fake snow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's a magical alchemy they pull off. Like the snowman scene, they're crouching and you can't really see what anybody else is doing, and they're sort of like half-heartedly rolling up the snow. And I'm like, wait, is this fake and they don't want us to know? Or is it? But then like 2 scenes later, there's literal icicles coming off the grapes. I'm like, well, then how did that look so bad? Like it's a real gift, I think, if you can have legit snow in one of these movies and still film it as though it were artificial.
It's
like I don't think I've seen
it's
that
impressively bad that they made real snow look like that. It's unbelievable.
The idea that this journalist is going to go cover a Christmas festival and doesn't bother to pick up the phone to be like, hey, I'm coming. Hey, confirming that the festival's happening.
Yeah.
Hey, confirming that you guys still own the vineyard and didn't sell it and move to Florida. Like, that's just...
And then
That's
she's
crazy.
shocked when he owns a vineyard. Like this guy who looks like anyone that could own a vineyard, and she just can't believe that he owns it.
What does a vineyard owner look like if not this guy?
That's right.
I don't really know. The relationship with the woman who's with her running the camera, like, I couldn't tell if they were friends or she's just a terrible boss, but like she's constantly pulling this other person into situations that she does not want to be in and sort of forcing her to do them whether she wants to or not. And so it's kind of like, is this a weird friendship where you're just like, the alpha who's like making the other person do your bidding all the time? Or are you just an awful, like, subject poor woman to stuff and she has no recourse but to say yes because you signed her paycheck? Like, it was a weird relationship.
Fair.
This is, I know, a thing that happens in so many of these movies and we should just let it go. But like when they actually say out loud, it's going to air Christmas night.
Oh my gosh. No, listen, this is worse than that because originally she is sent down there and gets to stay through Christmas Day. Like,
Right.
And so early in the movie, I'm like, this is the first one of these movies that's done this right. They've actually sent
Says
her.
you're gonna work through.
She's going to work through Christmas for next year's Christmas special. And I'm like, I can't believe this movie got it right. And then with like 20 minutes left in this movie, the boss is like, we already got all the footage. It'll air Christmas night. What was the plan if she didn't get it to you early?
Maybe it was just that good they couldn't hold it. They were
Oh
like, we
my
can't
gosh.
hold this for a year.
It's like Christmas night is for food comas. It is not for new Christmas material. By
Not
that
getting
point,
ratings. Stop
Yeah,
writing your new magazine article and putting your new special on TV on Christmas Day.
exactly. And like, I know it is just part and parcel of these movies that they're going to get that wrong. But just when somebody said out loud, we're airing a Christmas night, I was like,
Still, if we
okay,
start
we're-
letting that slide, we got to stop the show. Like that, you can't do that. Like people need to know that you can't do that.
yeah. So, but on top of it, to shine a spotlight on it, it was a lot. The idea that, again, it's as though like she's moving to Europe forever and they'll never see each other again is a ridiculous plot conflict. And then, sorry, it's allergy season in LA and my eyes are like,
Yeah,
full
that's
of
what's going on with
pollen.
me too. That's what's wrong with me today.
Yeah. Yes.
they're back in the office, and she's getting ready to go to Europe, and the friend, assistant, whoever is trying to convince her to go back up there and like make things right with, Lurch before they leave. And she goes, "You've got one more stop to make on your way to JFK." They're in Los Angeles. There are international flights out of Los Angeles to pretty much everywhere on Earth without having to go via JFK. Do the writers not know this? Did the writers forget and think that they were suddenly back in New York? Like that line just was like, whoa, what? And then the big kiss at the end in the Tuscan vineyard, air quotes. There is a reason why certain actors and actresses have the use of apple boxes.
Yeah.
He is straining so far to get down to her mouth area, and she is on tiptoe trying to get up to his. It's just a flinchy moment. And usually there would be, the step ladder that we would never see on camera that equalizes them, even if he's been towering over the whole movie, just to make that kiss a little more, organic.
More than fair. I have a few. One, I did just chuckle at if her wine show gets good ratings, we will send you to where wine is from.
That's right.
We'll reverse engineer, like do the Americans, and then if it's good, then we'll focus on the whole package.
Correct.
We'll do the real thing.
Yeah.
We'll do the real thing.
That's your reward.
This family does an annual tradition where they invite friends over.
Yeah, it's
for
like
Christmas.
a Friendsgiving, but Christmas.
Yes, and I think the name Friends Christmas is just uninspired. They were like, we do a special thing. It's called
Friends Christmas.
Friends Christmas.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, I mean, that is the descriptor of what it is. Yes. Friends Christmas.
And apparently all of their friends worked at the winery because no one's there.
No one's there.
We
central cast.
We should
Literally,
do
if
it.
it wasn't for this woman in town, no one, or if it wasn't for her having to go to this winery, it would have just been
that's the thing. Do you
that
want to
guy sitting by himself at the table?
Do you want to do Friends Christmas? Well, we kind of already are, as my only friend is with me.
That's right.
Let me see who else I can get. Luckily for her, she met a couple people. I would like to remind us all really quickly that had the mom been alive, in this family, there'd be three of them. Dad, mom, daughter. That table's freaking massive.
Yeah, the table is
for
huge.
a family of three.
It's a great table.
It is the widest and the longest. It's an ark. It's Noah's Ark. It is huge. A family of three. They're like all apart. They're just
Maybe
like on other
that's
sides
because
of the
Friends Christmas.
Maybe that like
They
we
put
have
the leaves in.
Yeah, they put all the leaves. Man, it's a huge
Big,
table.
I noticed the table. And I was
Big,
like, you know what?
big
Maybe
table.
Friends Christmas was a big deal.
And in her defense, it is her father's house, so like
big
it does
table,
track.
Lots and lots of food. Exactly.
You know what? And I want to piggyback on that. Also, the decorations in that house seem like three different houses decorations, and I mean not just in quantity but in style, mooshed together and all put on one staircase.
Decorations do bring me to one point on the porch. They have made at least half of the porch unusable because they've blocked it with 4 Christmas trees. So you can't get by it. It's like, this is off limits. And we'll do that by way of Christmas tree. Guys, he's not meant to host TV.
No.
He can't. We can't let her host a TV show.
Please.
Let her just be the host. It's what she does. You just can't.
He just is
Right?
not even at his best.
Can't.
His best is a 3. Like it just is not. It just is not as an actor. This character is not meant to host a TV show.
It'd be like when they hey, Ken Jennings, you come host Jeopardy, and then he's like, well, I will, but I do have to bring my significant other. She also has to host it with me at the same time. Does she have any hosting experience or experience in this thing? No, but she's really good. She's good at it. Is she? I don't know, but let's just do it. It was so weird.
not coincidentally, this actor's big role in our universe of this stuff was the Baxter in that Steve Lund movie about the the Christmas cottage or whatever. And in that movie, he's Mr. All Work all the time. I'm designing a house where you never leave because your office is there.
That checks. Smart house
and
guy.
he was perfect in that role, but like here, less so.
Yes.
Last but not least, her friend / videographer. I don't know what she is, but she does
Director, videographer,
she does
producer,
it all.
editor,
Lackey.
She's not good at it because on multiple
Terrible.
occasions, anytime anything organic is happening on screen, she's like. Finally, at the end of the movie, she's like, "Can you guys do that again? I got swept up in the moment." But that's not the only time that happens in the movie. It happens multiple times where she just doesn't get the shot.
Throughout the movie, she has a camera, but never when they do Christmas stuff.
Yeah.
So like the boss gets mad that it's not Christmassy. Well, that's on her. Her friend, because they do Christmas stuff all movie, and she just never brings the camera.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? What do we? Do your job. Real bad.
Well, and this actress, bless her heart, wants to react to what's happening, but to do so, she has to lower the camera so we can see her face, whereas what's happening is what she's supposed to be filming.
Yes.
Just keep rolling. Just keep looking in the viewfinder, and you will see it, the thing in front of you.
The thing.
Yes. Yeah. Dana?
There should be a new Decky category for most egregious casting of a parent. We do this a lot around here, and sometimes we miss it. When we did Shifting Gears and we said Tyler Hines' dad was too young, and we had a throng of people that were like,
Thong, 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 thong.
no, different. The dad was
Thanks a lot.
actually
Appreciate
60.
that laugh.
That's right. The dad's actually 60 years old, and we should lay off. And I was like, okay, whatever. We're just trying to do a bit here, guys. This woman, the lead in this movie, I'm going to generously say she's 32 or 33 years old. Like, that's about right. Maybe a little bit older. Her dad in this movie, the first time they meet, I was like, I can't, that's not her dad. This is like a joke. Her dad in real life, that actor is 44 years old. He is 4 years older than me. And in one scene, I'm pretty sure they try to make his eyebrows gray in order for him to look older. They made a 44-year-old dude the dad of a 33-4-year-old woman. It is wild.
It's like a high school play where all the actors
Yes.
are around the same age.
Yeah, they all drew names out of a hat. Oh, I got dad. Uh-oh. Ugh.
They spent the time putting gray in his eyebrows for like a quarter of
And
the
then
movie.
the rest of it, just whatever. Not important.
It's just whatever. Whatever.
I could be wrong on this, and I would love to hear from our listeners of the Jewish faith. I'm offended on behalf of Jewish people. The woman in this movie that is supposed to play a Jewish woman, what they do is every scene they have her say something to identify herself as being Jewish. Like, and it never makes sense in the movie. It's always like, just to remind you, I'm the Jewish character. It doesn't flow. It's not authentic. It's just like, this is here. And then while Alonso really liked the English wording of the blessing, maybe I've just heard 10 too many explanations of the menorah, but like her doing a full tutorial of this menorah was really tough. Like, and then the dad pipes up and says this line, I have it on good authority that Filipinos aren't the only ones to celebrate light over dark during the holidays. That's like everybody, bro. That's like everybody that celebrates over the holidays, light over dark is a big part of it. And for him to do that before she explains the menorah was, in my opinion, like...
And then still act shocked when he hears the
That's
story.
right. That's right. Act so like he's never heard hide nor hair.
8 days?
8 days? Are you kidding me? It is like my ears are still ringing from the tone deaf. Like it was brutal. It was so hard. I have it on good authority that Filipinos aren't the only ones to celebrate light over dark. Buddy, where have you been? Good gosh. Early in this movie,
as he's surrounded by all Christmas lights.
That's right. Yeah,
more Christmas lights
everywhere.
Everywhere.
The dude, our lead, is in the winery with his brother.
It's
early in the
vinery.
Vinery. Is what you say, vinery? It's a VW sound. And he just sighs, and he says this line. I'm beginning to think this vineyard is one big white elephant. All right. Well, a white elephant is like an extravagant gift that looks great but doesn't have any form or function. That would be great if you were gifted the winery, but that is not what has happened in this movie. Your parents left to go to Germany, and you have been tasked with running the family business.
White elephant is a term that can refer to a property that is expensive to maintain but has little value.
Learn something new. Was wrong, learn something new.
Could you Google
learn something new. I learned something new. Did you know that?
No, but I Googled it.
Just now.
Because I was like, surely there has to be a reason.
I've only ever heard the thing about the king or whatever that gives a white elephant as a gift. That's the story I've heard from history, where this ruler is given a white elephant as a gift as this sign of extravagance, but then doesn't really know what to do with it. That's my whole basis for white elephant gift. But I learned something new.
There you go.
Happy to have done it. He is, for a guy that's running a fledgling winery, he is very against any opportunity for that wine to make money. Hey, we want to put a TV show on national TV about your winery. No way. Not on my watch.
Hell no.
Not as long as I'm running the show. Not as long as I'm steering the ship.
Out of my face.
I don't want it. Don't want it. They go do a snowman competition, and I've never seen judging take place as fast as this. This is real time, not sped up. All right, time's up. The winner's number 2. You didn't go through and at least give everyone the
Pat on the
just
back.
enough to say we looked at it and judged it.
How bad is everyone else's?
3, 2, 1. Number 2-1.
Yeah.
Number 2-1. We've been watching the
Good night,
whole time.
everybody.
It's not even close. We're not even going to go around and judge it.
We did a quick once over.
We've
seen all that we need to see.
We did a 0.3 second judging of all the snowmen. And the snowman that wins only has 2 balls. Not 2, like it only has 2.
I got it.
Yeah, only has 2. There should be 3. There should be 3. Like it should.
You should go to a doctor, brother. Like you gotta get that looked at, man.
2. Listen. 1.
Snowballs.
2, 3.
Yes.
The number of structures in the snowman. Get your mind out of the gutter. Throng. They bake some cookies or something together, and he takes them out of the oven with oven mitt, puts them down, and then just dives in barehanded. Like out of the oven, sets them down. These are going to be hot, just right in his mouth, which is very impressive for being the worst idea I've ever heard. Later in this movie, he explains how his girlfriend, they were going to get married, and then she became a sommelier and took a job in France. And she basically chose France over him. So our leading lady that is his new love interest, on the phone, she hasn't worn a hat all movie. Not one. She knows that this guy's fiance.
She hasn't worn a hat.
Wait for it.
Has worn a hat.
Wait for it. Hasn't worn a hat all movie. Finds out that this guy's fiance chose Paris over him. She hears she gets the job in Paris, hangs up the phone, puts on a beret immediately. Puts on a beret and was like, when I break the news to this guy about me also going to France, just like your fiance did, I will be wearing a beret just to let you know that I'm more European now. And I felt like it was a bit much. I felt like we were kicking him while he was down.
She has worn a hat.
The beret is a valid point. She does wear a hat in the snowman sequence.
I forgot.
She wears he asked her if it's made of steel, and then he puts it on
to the winery to work. You're right.
On the top ball.
That's right. Fair enough. All right. Lastly, I'll save that one for the what the hallmark.
You don't have the line about give him else a cookie?
That's in my what the hallmark.
Okay, great. Because I didn't write it down because I thought for sure you'd have it.
I'll get it. Don't worry.
Great. Yeah. It is time for
Xumo. You didn't.
Stop your whining.
I
don't know.
There we go.
Stop your whining.
I had one.
It's where we talk about any questions that we still got.
Xumo Zumerier. That was it.
Zumo Zamarier. I like that.
That's not bad. Alonso?
Jason DeZumo.
Did he do anything besides cats? I honestly don't know.
He sings some songs, maybe.
Yeah.
He's been around the world. He doesn't speak the
Throng
language.
song.
Yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you, I think could we just do a spin-off of this movie where she tells the why not joke over and over again? Because this movie, to show you the chemistry and how good he is on TV and how great they are together, they consistently show you the very worst parts of their on-camera thing over and over and over again, which is insane.
That is my, I'll piggyback on that. That is my, what the Xumo Zamari or whatever we're calling it. They have a scene where he makes a wine pun. It's terrible. He makes a second one, and then she says, if you give a mouse a cookie, he'll make a windrous joke. Like wondrous, but windrous. It is one of the most awkward exchanges ever. And you're like, okay, they did it once. It was awkward. It didn't work, but they think they're cute. Great. They show you that scene 2 more times in this movie. They show you that same exact scene. One, I don't know why she said if you give a mouse a cookie. I don't know what that has to do with anything. That isn't a part of any of this.
It's a pairing.
Don't drag mouse and dog and all of the great folks over it if you give a mouse a cookie into your
Great
terrible
folks.
world of puns. 1, 2, you showed that scene 3 times to prove how great their chemistry was. That's how bad your movie is. That's really, really bad.
I did also want to give a quick shout out. There were 2 lines that leapt out at me as being sort of self-reflexive. Early on, when the brother is talking about some wine that isn't coming together, he says, it's gone a bit reductive, which I thought was maybe just a review for all of this. And then later when they're talking about the dang ice wine, which really, enough with the ice wine movies already. This is like the 4th one, I think. It's crazy. Somebody refers to it as, quote unquote, the hallmark of wine and Christmas. And I was like, oh, you wish.
Not on your best day.
Oh, boy.
Maybe the Big Johnson.
So it's 2 balls. The O'Reillys moved to Florida. They left their website up. Dad says, it's been it's been problematic. But what can we do? Something. You can do somebody's got to do something. Somebody just has to call the O'Reillys and be like, guys, this is becoming a problem.
Yeah.
One email to GoDaddy will take care of all
Does anybody ever help the O'Reillys out? Or is this website just going to be up forever?
gonna keep
they
running.
put it on auto pay and they forgot it, and here we are.
Are they fugitives? Did they leave in the middle of the night?
What happened to them? What happened to them? Poor O'Reillys. Or maybe not poor O'Reilly. I mean, they did move to Florida,
O'Reillys.
so yeah. So yes, poor. We did it.
We did it. Yeah.
Next week we are heading
Streamlined. It's just this episode was just real.
We're heading over to
straightforward.
AMC Plus / Shudder for It's a Wonderful Knife. It's a Wonderful Knife. It made it to the theaters.
Yes, it did.
It made it to our hearts. Let's find out. We'll see it next week.
And it will be May.
It will
South
be May.
Carolina, Hampton. Email your answers to Brian.
That's right.
Let
me know. I'm still wondering about it. Yes. We'll be back next week with another one. Until then, Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.